I know. Once you learn how to tailor your own clothes, you were gonna go on a tailoring binge and tailor everything in your closet. But dude, your needle, it doesn't last forever, and in fact, it doesn't really last that long at all. I'm SD, and if you're new, I show guys like you how to tailor their own clothes at home. So if that sounds like your jam, be sure to click that subscribe button down below. A lot of people think that I'm kidding about the addiction thing. I am not. Go look at the comments. Let's start here. Why do we change it? Well, every single time your needle goes through your garment, it causes some microscopic wear on that needle. Now, disclaimer, I'm not a scientist, nor do I have a degree in molecular engineering, but if I had to take a wild guess, a worn needle just isn't going to perform nearly as well as a not worn needle. All that microscopic wear on your needle is going to make microscopic wear on your garment. So you're not gonna have a nice, clean finish to that hole, which means you're not gonna have as strong of a stitch as you would have or should have, which means it's just gonna it's gonna affect the structural integrity of it, and that's really just a fancy way of saying it's gonna rip when you're at like Walmart buying groceries. Your thread is rubbing up against all that microscopic wear and tear, and then your thread ends up breaking 47 times, and you want to throw your sewing machine at a wall because you are super frustrated! I got a message from a guy who was like, yo, SD, help me out, my thread, it keeps breaking over and over again. Yes, I've checked all of my settings. Yes, my stitch tension is good to go. Help me out, man, what's going on? And so I asked him, I was like, hey, did you change your needle? And he was like, no, but I asked you about my thread. What does my needle have to do with this? And I'm like, well, they go hand in hand, trust me. Because if you're using an old needle, that's probably the reason why your thread keeps breaking. So change your needle and then let me know what's going on. He messaged me like 20 minutes later. He's like, huh, it was my needle. It hasn't happened since then. Thanks, man. Okay, thanks for the science lesson, Mr. I failed high school science, but when do we change it? Well, it's a little bit tricky because some people say it's after X number of hours and some people say it's after X number of garments. X is the answer to that. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. That's like saying purple is the answer to the number of ounces in a cup. My rule of thumb is this, and it's twofold. It's A, did I go out and buy a whole bunch of clothes because it's a new season and I'm kind of changing my wardrobe a little bit? Okay, I need to change my needle. I need to make sure to change my needle. And it's really easy to drop the ball on that because you might go out and you'll buy 10 t-shirts and you'll get halfway through. You were just in assembly line about it and you won't think about it, but halfway through your needle, it's seen better days. So change your needle. This is my personal real life tailoring binge haul that I'm about to go on here and that I'm about to embark on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tailor all of this. Now what we got going on here is I've got a couple of athletic workout shirts here because yes, you can and you should tailor your workout shirts just like you do your regular shirts. And what I'll do with these ones is I tailor them just like I do my t-shirts. These two here are new. I got these at Target. They were like 12 bucks each, something like that. And then this one here is a little bit older. This one is gonna be my template shirt. I got this one on Amazon. This one is an Amazon Essentials shirt and I love it. I really like this nice bright, vibrant red color that I got going on here. It's similar to tailoring a t-shirt, but one of the biggest differences is you're gonna use a zigzag stitch on the side here as your primary stitch as opposed to a straight stitch. And let me see if I can find it here because one of the sides ended up getting a little bit wonky because of my stitch tension. I think it was this one. This one here, I didn't have my stitch tension dialed in correctly, so I have a little bit of puckering. My stitches are tugging at themselves just a little bit. It's nothing too crazy at all. It's barely noticeable. And speaking of noticing things, I let my daughter paint my fingernails the other day and I just realized that I left it on. It was over the weekend. We didn't go anywhere, so it didn't matter. And I literally didn't think about it until this moment. Awesome. Oh well, not a big deal. Moving on. So this is the bad seam right here. And then this one here is the good one. This one came out fine because I did the other one and I wasn't really too happy with it. So this one here is perfect. So I'm gonna replicate all of that on these two shirts here. Another thing I have going on here, this is a hoodie that you've seen before. What I did is I made a tutorial on how to make a slim fit hoodie. And this is that exact hoodie. I love this hoodie and and I wear it all the time. And the funny thing about this hoodie is, for contrast purposes, I had to use contrasting thread because I've got white thread in this gray hoodie, so you can just see it all in there. It's not a huge deal. This is similar to the athletic shirts where you're going to use a zigzag stitch as your primary stitch as opposed to a straight stitch. And so I just went back to Kohl's and I got the exact same hoodies, just in different colors. And the reason why all of this is relevant, this is kind of a lot of material to be working with my one universal needle that I'm gonna end up using. Okay, now I know when I should change it, but let me see here. Oh, I don't know. How do I change it? All right, let's go ahead and change this needle. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not so fast there, cowboy. Look, our light on our sewing machine is on, which means that our sewing machine is able to be run right now. It's not the end of the world. You can do this with your machine on. You just want to make sure to be extra careful, because little do you know, if you hit that gas pedal while you're trying to do this, you were going to sew right through your finger and you're going to be like, oh, God. All right, with that expletive-laden tirade out of the way, let's go ahead and change this bad boy. I went ahead and I pulled my thread out of here previously, but you want to make sure that you pull your thread out of here. And look, I'm tugging on this. It's not going anywhere, right? That's good. And now every sewing machine is generally the same as far as changing the needle goes. So there's a little screw right on the side right here. And you want to hold on to your needle, because once you start screwing it out, your needle will drop right down, which you don't really want. You don't want sharp things all the way down in your feed dogs, all down in there. So we're gonna take this needle out just like that. Unscrew it a bit more. And you're not gonna have a ton of room to work with in here. In the event that you don't like how much room you have, you can put your presser foot down like that so that you have more room to work with in here, but you want to make sure to, before you thread it, make sure your presser foot is up. Let's get rid of this guy, and we're going to grab this new universal needle, and I can actually pick it up properly. Okay, there we go. So let's take a look at this. All right, you see how it looks like it's round all the way around on the sides? Well, look, I want to show you this. There's a flat side on here. Can you see it kind of glimmering in the light, like just boop, just like that, just ever so sparkly? That flat side is important because you want it to be facing that way, away from you and towards the back of your sewing machine. So take it so that the flat side is facing back and just push it right on up in there and hold on to it the whole time, because it can and will fall. And then screw it on in there just like that. And look at that. Good to go. Kind of give it a nice tug and boom, you are done. That's all I got for you. Let's go tailor that hoodie that I was talking about together. It's in the end card. I'll see you over there. SD out. Deuces.